And so far, by our estimate, Biden has won 8 of the states of the 14 tonight. Bernie Sanders 3, but Texas still very much up in the air right now. Let's take a closer look.
It doesn't get much more up in the air than this, Wolf. Texas, 228 delegates are at stake tonight. We have 46% of the vote in. Take a look. Bernie Sanders in a close race. He's got 28.7%. He is followed by Joe Biden, about 35,000 votes behind him at 25.2%. And Michael Bloomberg is at 18.3%. So he's above that 15% threshold that you look for to see who's going to accumulate delegates. But remember, delegates are awarded both based on this statewide vote, which looks like it could go to either Biden or Sanders at this point. We have more than half the vote to count, but also based on how districts vote. In Texas, it's state Senate districts. There are 31 of them in Texas. And so we're looking now to see who has more than 15% within the districts. Take a look, 31 state Senate districts. That's how the state is broken up. And look at the candidates who have 15% or more in districts. Biden is at that level in 14 districts. I know he was behind in the vote count, but he's actually ahead in a number of districts where he is viable for delegates. Sanders at 13 districts at that viability threshold. And Bloomberg has 12 districts. Warren has 1 of the 31 where she's at 15% or more. But that means 4 candidates here are going to be, if this is where the vote ends up, again, we only have 46% of the vote in, are going to be collecting delegates. And it just shows you in a close race, where you are in each of these districts matter, but it is unlikely in a close race that you can amass a big delegate advantage.
It's clearly complicated in Texas right now. So explain it one more time for our viewers, why Biden, as far as the state Senate districts, would have one more delegate, at least right now, than Bernie Sanders.
Well, no, it's not a delegate. These are numbers of districts,
right?
Of districts. So there are 31, see here on the left, there are 31 state Senate districts. What we're doing is looking how many of those districts is Joe Biden at 15% or more in the vote? How many are Bernie Sanders in? Because that's where they're going to collect delegates. Now, some of these, take a look. Biden has 14 of those 31 districts where he is at 15% or more. Sanders is at 13 districts with 15% or more. By the way, some of those could be the same district. They could each have more than 15% of the vote in a given district. Bloomberg has 12 state Senate districts where he is viable for delegates. He has more, 15% or more of the vote, and Warren has 1. It shows you that you saw how close the race was statewide. It is also close as to who is viable for delegates in these districts and how many districts. It means that somebody is not right now, if this is how it ends up tonight, is going to emerge from Texas with some massive delegate advantage.
So the 228 delegates that are at stake in Texas potentially, based on what you're explaining to us, could be split relatively evenly.
If not evenly, close to it. That there's not going to be somebody who can amass a big advantage over the competitors.
That would be, presumably, that would be very good for Biden right now if they are split relatively evenly in Texas.